Welcome to Bay Focus. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Well, we are going to talk in just a few minutes with the CEO of the Pinellas Education Foundation. And if you don't know what that is, you are going to find out what that is because they support our schools and our students in so many ways that I wasn't even familiar with. And you will want to know about that and how you can participate as well in helping our kids and helping our schools in Pinellas County. But before we do that, we are going to take you to the recent Strawberry Festival with our reporter, Alyse Nicole. Welcome, Alyse.
Yes, thank you. It's an honor
to have you back.
You
and
too.
you know, as we always say when we have you on the show, that you're out and about in the community.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something you've been doing for a couple different times over the years.
Yes.
And for people that, you know, I can't imagine they don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but what is the Strawberry Festival? You were out there and you saw it all up close.
Oh, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
an annual event blessing it, or basically celebrating the harvest of the strawberries. And it's in Plant City every year, and they've got rides and fun and foods and strawberry shortcake, which is the best.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things too that that they do in those of us that are from this area, but people come from all over the country to do this. And
Yes.
they have an incredible lineup of musicians. They have a whole concert stage and a venue there that they do concerts, and they include just about every year Christian artists too,
Yes.
Christian music, and they had some great ones this year, didn't they?
They did. They had Sandy Patty and Lauren Daigle, which I was fortunate to see both, as well as Forrest Frank.
Yeah.
And it just was so many wonderful lineup individuals.
And then they have all kinds of concerts too. You have country artists, you have a variety of other groups that come. But what was your favorite thing? And we're going to go to the report, but what was your favorite thing? You had our crew, and I want to give a shout out to our director, Stephen. Jane was there doing videographer that day, and we have some other staff that are going to be seen in the video. What was your favorite thing?
My favorite thing, I have to say, I loved Sandy Patty. I'd heard about her my whole life, and I'd never met or seen her up close, and I saw her up close. And her testimony was powerful, and the strawberry shortcake.
Okay, well, I might have to invert that. Strawberry shortcake and then Sandy Patty. All right, there's so much more that Alyse did, and we're going to take a look at her report from this year's Strawberry Festival.
Welcome to the Florida Strawberry Festival, where people come from all over the world, especially all over the state, to celebrate the strawberry harvest in Plant City, Florida, where there are rides and exhibits and all kinds of adventures. Hi, this is Alyse Nicole for Bay Focus, and we are here at the Florida Strawberry Festival. Check out the food, the fun, and the fabulous games, and of course, the delicious strawberries. Couldn't ask for a better day, breezy and cool, and even though it looked like rain, it never did. Just took it all in and enjoyed the fun, the laughter, the epic kiddie roller coasters. And of course, at the end, we got our great load of strawberries. And to top it all off, my very favorite strawberry shortcake. And now, at the CTN booth for some great interviews.
And we are here with the amazingly talented, brilliantly inventive Chris Yates. Can you tell us about what you do, what your title is, and how this all got started?
I love her energy. My name is Chris Yates. I'm the Director of Marketing for the network. But part of my job is getting into the community, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here today. Strawberry Festival does a good job. Every year they do country, they'll do rock, they'll do rap, but they're doing the Christian artists today. And we have Sandy Patty, and then Lauren Daigle, and then Forrest Frank on Friday. And every year they come up with some really great artists. And so, yeah, we'll be out here enjoying the concert. And again, they've done a great venue. And if you've not come to the Strawberry Festival, come on out.
Be there.
Yes.
Or be a strawberry.
And it's always the last week in February, first week in March.
And here's Judy Dubé.
So we are here offering prayer for people. So if anybody needs prayer today, we love to pray for them. A lot of people won't really stop and admit that they want prayer. So we have these wonderful cards here that we give to them because we do have that 24-hour prayer line that people can call at any time for prayer, and everything is private. Nobody gets your email or any information like that. And that number, just to let you know, is 727-535-7729. So we are here to pray and remind people of who Jesus is.
Now to the Associate Director of the Strawberry Festival.
And I am an associate director, so some of my things that I do is making sure that we have a future and planning for the future with the Long Range Committee. I also help with some of the entertainment. I am an entertainer. I perform the gospel nights here, so I wear a lot of hats at this festival.
Wonderful. That's fantastic.
I also help out with everything in the main stadium with seating and making sure our guests are having an amazing time. Yeah.
That's very, very exciting. Can you tell us a little bit about the favorite rides here, the favorite foods, favorite games, and so forth?
Well, as you can see that wheel right there, you can actually see all of Plant City, on that wheel. So that is a fan favorite. Smitty corn dogs and the Amish donuts. Those are the things. People stand in a line for 2 hours just to get a corn dog and a donut.
Can't imagine waiting on that line, but I'm now all here for the legendary Sandy Patty.
When nothing else, when nothing else would love lifted me, when nothing else would help. God's love, wonderful love, wonderful love, lifted me.
I am so grateful that my heart has found a place in so many of these lyrics and so many of these songs. I'm not a fabulous songwriter like Lauren Daigle. That girl can write a song. But I've been able to be handed some songs from other songwriters, and I've been able to take those words and then tell the story.
Speaking of Lauren Daigle, here we are getting ready and prep with a gorgeous view of the festival and the Ferris wheel. Thank you to Lauren, Sandy, and everyone at the Strawberry Festival who made this day and night an unforgettable event.
Thank you so much, Alyse, for that report from the Strawberry Festival. She gets all the fun assignments. She's out there getting the strawberry shortcake. I love it, and so honored to have featured some of the concert artists there as well. And thanks to the CTN team who were present at the Strawberry Festival as well. Well, we're now going to transition for the remainder of the show. I'd like to periodically on Bay Focus address issues in education. I mean, it's so important for all of our families. There's so many different variety of ways to educate children these days, and we featured a lot of them, including homeschooling. You have charter schools, you have so many different things, but I like to bring it back to our public school system too as well, because there's a lot of people working really hard to make that so good for our kids. And we have one of those people today, and her name is Kim Joel, and she is the CEO of the Pinellas Education Foundation. We're going to find out what that means. Thank you, Kim, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. And I want to brag on Kim a little bit here. She was the Businesswoman of the Year for the Tampa Bay Business Journal in 2022. She has just under 30 years of experience as a nonprofit CEO. She also has a background working with law enforcement, advocacy for victims. She just has such a broad experience level to bring to this organization, and worked with children, with a variety of things, and agencies. And Kim, I think one of the first things I want to define for our viewers is what is a foundation, and why is a foundation needed? Mm-hmm. Explain that for our viewers.
So it is a separate 501c3, so we're our own entity. We're one of like 63 out of 67 counties here in Florida, but each of us are serving the unique needs of what our students need in our communities. So we're fortunate to have that many in Florida. Not all states have that, but what we do know is that education if we want the supreme education that our kids deserve, it does take extra resources to get us there. And so our Education Foundation is zero-end on programs and resources that help close achievement gaps so that every student is successful academically and then post-high school and in life.
Well, I think one of the key things you said too, and it's important to mention. You mentioned, it's a nonprofit, it's a foundation. Just like we have foundations support other things, you're coming alongside the tax dollars. You're coming alongside the districts, which means you have partnerships, right? Who partners with the foundation? Yeah, we don't do our work without a lot of corporations support and community members. Pinellas, and I know other counties, but I know specifically in Pinellas, we are really blessed to have so many wonderful contributors who believe in education. It is the game changer for us. If you want a skilled workforce, if we want to reduce poverty, this is the mechanism that will do that. So I don't know if everybody realizes when you were talking about tax dollars, but when you get your tax bill and your property tax, there's a line that says school in your taxes dedicated to schools. And that money goes up to Tallahassee, gets put in a pot, and then redistributed out. So not all those dollars that Pinellas gave are staying here in Pinellas. I actually did not know that.
Yeah,
that is
so
huge.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
But when you look at the restrictions, the school district gets money, but it is very restricted to what they can use it for. And if you want to do something innovative and creative, there's not always the ability to do that. So fortunate for us, we have partners and people who believe in education and are willing to invest in that, to try some programs to see if we can change the trajectory of some students.
Yeah, and I love that. And so let's talk about some of the programs. One of the things you tackle is literacy. Mm-hmm. Why is that so important?
Well, that's the foundation of all learning, right? And in Pinellas and throughout the state, this is very common, that less than half of the students start kindergarten ready. So they're not ready to even sit in a seat all day long, more or less learn. So when you're already starting behind and then you are trying to catch up, if they're not reading by third grade, there is a high percentage of students that will never be able to read proficiently. So for us, getting early intervention was really important. And so we started a program and we targeted the schools that had high rates of students at low proficiency levels. And we started a program, when we invest, how do we invest in something that we know we only have a short time or short amount of money to spend and we can move the needle fast and that can sustain over time. And so what we did is we focused, we got a little bit over $1 million grant to start off with, and we focused on teacher professional development. Mm-hmm. If we can make the teacher's quality of instruction better, the students will have better outcomes. And the teachers will have better satisfaction in the classroom, right? Because their students are performing, all those things. And so we are in 24 schools with this program where the teachers are getting PD, but we've all gone to professional development and we've taken our notes and go back and then we have to practice it, right? But there's not somebody there holding you accountable other than yourself. And so our program puts coaches in the classroom. Every week, these teachers are being coached. They're using data to help make sure they're every student's needs are being met. Mm-hmm. And we have seen tremendous growth in our students compared to where they were. When we started in one school, and of course I'm going to give you the best stat, but it's impressive. It started at 10% of the students in third grade were proficient in reading, 10%.
Wow.
And today, because of our program, it's 72%.
Wow.
When you see 8% growth, that's significant. But when you're seeing all of the programs, we're seeing double digits.
That's huge.
Yes.
I mean, that really shows how this is making the results.
Yeah.
You have two programs with this, and I want to focus on one right now. I don't know if this is the title for it, the PELI.
Yes, so that's what I was.
That's what you were just explaining.
Yep, the PELI. Everything in education has acronyms, so it's Pinellas Early Literacy Initiative.
Okay, thank you so much. There's another one you do that I just think is so interesting, Closing the Gap.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So our board did some research about 10 years ago, about 12 years ago, around that boys were not reading at the same level of girls. Mm-hmm. And so they did this research, and then they got some funding to bring in a certified gender differentiated instruction expert. So I have boys, and I have been around girls, but they're different, right? They're different. They learn different. And so this gender differentiated instruction strategy is about giving teachers tools to engage boys who like to be active. They like competition. They like, maybe they don't want to read the fluffy books. They want to read more gory books. So having selections of books, and there's lots of other brain chemistry and things that teachers are applying into their schools, into their classrooms from this instruction. And we've seen the gaps close.
You know what I love about that is just there's a level of simplicity to it.
Right.
Because, boys aren't going to read a fluffy thing. You know? They're going to want something that engages the action, or whatever too. So I love sometimes just changing the material.
Yes.
Sometimes just changing the material engages them in reading.
If you want to read, you got to like what you're reading.
Exactly. All right, college and career readiness is another thing you do, and that's big.
Yeah, that's
trying
a big
to get
bucket.
kids ready for that.
Yeah, we 100% believe there are so many pathways for students, right? College isn't for everybody. Gosh knows we need trades. And so we are looking at, of course, trying to bring students as much academic success that they can, but make sure that they have a path after high school. So we do it in several different ways. We know the biggest barrier to going to college is financial. Yeah. So we give out a lot of scholarships for students. A lot of people will give in memory of loved ones that they've lost or different things. And so we are fortunate to be able to, they trust us to be able to do that and give that out to students. We have a very big program, and it actually, we've been very innovative at our foundation in terms of a program that was started almost 30 years ago. It was called Doorways, and it evolved to a program called Take Stock in Children, and it's now a statewide program. And it is about low-income students who at least make a 2.0 or higher, and bringing them into a program called Take Stock in Children, where we pair them with a caring adult volunteer mentor. We also, on our staff, have a college success coach that works with these students. So we bring them in anywhere between 6th and 9th grade, and we stay with them through their whole college. But the minute they join, we promise them that they will have a Florida prepaid scholarship when they graduate. So,
I love that.
Yes. So it's a dangling carrot, but really the special thing about this program is our mentoring part, right? Yeah. We're in the business of getting money. We're fundraising for the benefit of the schools and students, but really the gift of your time is the biggest gift you can give to somebody, right? And when you are a low income, you may not have resources, you may not have connections that you need. And so it is an in-school mentoring program. So it's 15 times a year that we ask a mentor to meet a student, usually around lunchtime for 30 minutes. And share their experiences, help support the student, listen to them, give them any guidance that they want. I'm sure students can probably educate them on some things too. Yeah. And so we have 1,100 students in that program. Yeah. And so it's a very big program. So we need mentors.
That was one of the most intriguing things about what you're doing on all these programs is that, and any one of us could come alongside, and you would obviously have to screen whoever comes and goes meets with the kids, but could just give life experiences, just being there with them and donating. That's not a ton of time. I mean, that really isn't when you look at how many times a year.
Yeah.
That is tremendous. All right. If we have time, we're going to get back to you. Also have college and career centers, correct?
Yeah. So what we found was we have about the ratio of a guidance counselor to students is about 1 to 350. And when you think about that, that's too much of a load to give students individual attention that they need. Mm-hmm. So we invested in creating these college and career centers, and then the district has now taken those over. But we have where students are pulled out of class to come down and meet, and they'll be able, or they can come down on their own, but they are able to explore different career pathways that they want, talk with another person about what kinds of things they need to do to be prepared after high school, explore different career options, learn what they'll make, the salary that they'll make, and the level of education they need. And so every high school has one of those college and career centers now.
That is absolutely tremendous. What a tremendous resource. All right, now I want to get to this one, and I knew this was going to happen. The time is getting away from. There's so much ground to cover, but this is so important what you do. You support teachers. And classrooms. We talked a little bit earlier about how you provide some training for teachers, but there's just so many things. We all have this vision in our mind of teachers out getting their own school supplies.
Yes.
And that's literally one of the things you do. Tell us how you support them.
Yeah, so teachers, nothing happens in the classroom without a great teacher, right? And so the fact that our teachers don't make what they probably should for what they do, and then spend their own money. So we do, one of our initiatives is collect school supplies right before the school year starts. So anywhere we start as early as June, but we want them there before kids start school, if you can imagine being at school and you don't have the same as the kid next to you, that's just it's not a good place to start from. So, and we don't need the teachers buying it. So we do a supply drive every year and give those to the highest need schools. Another thing that we do, and one of my favorite things, is classroom grants for teachers. Teachers are so creative and innovative, and they're thinking how to engage their students, something fun to bring the curriculum alive. And so we do offer small grants for teachers, and we love supporting that. So that's a big part of it. And then we do the big Teacher of the Year celebration every year. So want to celebrate those teachers. So each school has a Teacher of the Year. Then they narrow it down to 10 finalists that we throw a dinner for and their families. And so we really love that part too.
We've all seen some news reports on some of those. Those are so great.
Yeah.
Okay, before I ask you the final question, because I want you to let our viewers know how they can help, but I just want to mention something too. One of the cool things they do is they build the next generation of healthcare heroes. You do some things with healthcare, and we're not going to have time to get into it, but you guys were super involved in hurricane relief too, everything we went through. But tell us about this healthcare side. I love that.
Yeah. So here we have so many options for students. So our district offers like 40 different career academies and about a total of 120 different career option things. So healthcare is certainly one of those.
Yeah.
And so we secured a grant that would help provide the resources to the programs, from anywhere from field trips to equipment that they need, to the resources to help those students have a real life experience. I mean, some of these schools have looks just like a little hospital training center. So those are some of the other things that we do.
And for different fields.
Yes, all different fields that we do.
Yeah, I just thought that because it is such
But healthcare is very important, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's huge, and there's many times a real need.
Yes.
To
there's
get
a shortage.
qualified professionals.
That's right.
All right. We want to let our viewers know, how can they come alongside and support the Pinellas Education Foundation? What are some things they can do?
Yeah. Well, as I shared, the mentoring would be wonderful.
Yeah, that would be one of them.
I mean, with the students, for sure. The supply drive is another great opportunity for us when we do that June through July, August timeframe. And then, I would say we have the privilege of honoring loved ones through scholarships and different opportunities. But anybody who would be interested in volunteering their time, but also giving of their treasures to ensure that students who don't have resources can have extra to be academically sound and proficient in their schoolwork. And it comes in different ways. So, I mean, there's countless ways. I mean, if you love literacy, if you love math, we have a math program that we're doing now. Like, there's all kinds of ways that we can address the needs of students. And we use the data to tell us where to put it, so we know it's going the right place.
Yeah. And, final question. What are you seeing results? You've got to have some interaction with some of these kids that are going through the programs, the various things you're doing.
Yeah.
Are you engaging them? Do you see them engaged?
Yeah, we just did a tour of the literacy program that I was telling you about, and I saw kindergarten students, right, all sitting in their specific circle, not attacking each other. They were listening intently to their teacher, reading 5-letter words. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I was not reading 5-letter words at that age. And I'm in awe of the students, but I'm really in awe of teachers who give to these students and make that possible. Our kids, especially when you have 66% of your kids are low income, they come to school with more than they need to be, right, at that age. And so then our teachers are faced with those things. So, it's a privilege to be able to raise money for our district. And I think that we have been instrumental in helping them get to an A district because we have invested those resources.
I want you to say that quick before we leave. Pinellas is excelling and even getting some recognition nationwide, right?
Yes, Pinellas School District is second year in a row that it's an A district.
Yeah.
89% of our schools are A's or B's. There's not a lot of districts that can do that. And, Pinellas County has a very rich community in that which they are providing to, I say rich in terms of enriching our education system because they're investing in education. And so that makes us one of the largest foundations in the United States because of that.
Wow.
But
I love
there's more work to be done. That's why we're an A district, right? Because we've been investing.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing
all
of this with our viewers today, Kim. And we're going to be back in just a moment with more Bay Focus, but we're going to show you on the screen how you can contact the Pinellas Education Foundation. Stay tuned.
want to hear from you. Is there an event happening in the Tampa Bay area? Or an organization helping the local community? If you have answers, let us know. Email us at darleneg@ctnonline.com. Find us online at ctnonline.com/bayfocus or follow us on Facebook at Bayfocus TV.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's program. You know, it was just really an honor to have the Pinellas Education Foundation represented today. Kim here with us. You know, what they do is so important. We have many times here on Bay Focus shared with you nonprofits and foundations that are doing the work of the community. But to know what's going on with our public school system too is a new thing for me and for this show, to really see how the foundation comes alongside the public school system and how needed it is. There's help for our kids, there's help for our teachers that's out there in the community supporting this foundation, and we hope you will as well. We gave you ways that you can do that. And then I also want to thank Alyse for doing the report from the Strawberry Festival and for talking to people she did there with their assistant director, creating the way for us to get there and record the things that we did there. It's always fun to be out in the community on this show as well. But I want to encourage you to contact us here at Bay Focus. You're seeing on the screen how you can do that. You can contact me directly. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think we should have on the show, some organizations, some people, some stories to tell, things that are happening in the community, people that are doing the community work. That's what we like to highlight here on Bay Focus, that are making a difference in people's lives and meeting the needs. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. We will see you next week on Bay Focus. May God richly, richly bless you.
For over 20 years, Bay Focus has taken you behind the scenes of Central Florida ministries, community organizations, and local events. Join host Darlene Greenlee as she talks to local leaders about how Christians can express faith in action in their communities. Tune in on Wednesdays and Thursdays on CTN Greater Tampa Bay or watch on demand at ctnonline.com/bayfocus.